Good evening, this is your 28storms.com tropical weather update for Sunday, November 20th. The latest Hurricane Center tropical weather outlook is giving the Central Atlantic disturbance a 40% chance of development within the next 48 hours, and the following are the latest model tracks that clearly show the system moving northeast and out to sea. And really quickly, if we look into the eastern Pacific, we now have Tropical Storm Kenneth. This is the latest forming tropical storm in the eastern Pacific since Winnie back in December of 1983. So this is a rare phenomena for eastern Pacific storms to develop so late in the year, but it can still happen. After all, it is hurricane season, and these are the latest model tracks for Tropical Storm Kenneth. Only one or two models take this more toward the northeast in the general direction of Mexico. That scenario is highly unlikely at this time, and the majority of the models seem to have the correct idea by keeping the system on a general west-northwest to northwest heading. This is the most recent satellite pass of Tropical Storm Kenneth. Unfortunately, the satellite missed the majority of the storm, but we can still make out the southeast quadrant, and we can see that the inner core is getting its act together rather nicely this evening. And the latest trends based on the visible and enhanced infrared imagery would suggest that Tropical Storm Kenneth is well on its way to becoming the next hurricane of the 2011 season. We see that the convection is developing right over the center. There's really not much in the way of any restriction of the outflow channels, and it looks as though the upper level environment will remain favorable for at least the next 24 to 48 hours. There is a lot of westerly wind shear out ahead of the system, but again, it's going to still take a couple days for the hurricane, or soon to be hurricane, to really interact with those upper level conditions. The good news though is that that system will remain offshore, and as we switch over back to the Atlantic basin, here again is our tropical disturbance in the central Atlantic. It's really not harming anyone since it's so far away from land, and it's expected to stay that way with the system generally moving in a north to northeast direction. It still has a 40 to 50% chance of becoming a classified subtropical or fully tropical system. The main issues continue to be dry air and vertical wind shear, but the overall environment still appears to be marginal enough for at least the potential for some slow development over the next few days. This is the latest 18Z GFS run, and it shows both systems continuing to develop, so we're more than likely not done with the named storms in the Atlantic Basin, as it still appears that this one will attain a name at some point, and our system in the eastern Pacific should remain well off the coast of the Baja Peninsula. It very well could begin to move more toward the north in the medium range, but in order for it to affect the Baja Peninsula, it's going to have to move over much cooler water temperatures, so this system poses no risk of making landfall as a classified tropical cyclone. Meanwhile, the latest run of the Canadian CMC also shows both of these systems organizing and then moving away from land. The one difference is that by day 6, the model is also trying to develop yet another area of low pressure along the stalled out boundary or a cold front located just to the south of Bermuda by this time. However, this is the only model advertising such a solution at this time. Last but not least, this is the 12Z EC MWF. Much like the GFS and Canadian CMC, both of our systems are progged to move away from the coast. And interestingly enough, as we go into day 5 and day 6, we have yet another mid-latitude system beginning to roll through the southern plains of the U.S. Of course, right now we're dealing with a somewhat active severe weather period with a couple rounds of severe weather possible across the lower Mississippi Valley and Texas on Monday and Tuesday. It looks as though after Thanksgiving we could be setting up for at least a slight chance of another severe weather event. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. Of course, keep it tuned to 28storms.com and our Facebook page for more updates. And you can expect another tropical weather video update by no later than tomorrow evening.